I power walked down to that pile of gummy bears and back. I should probably set the pile out further, or closer, so I can get at them.
Nothing more motivating than a pile of gummy bears. And if all else fails, move the pile out farther or closer so you can get at them. I love that meatwad clip. What's up, everybody? How are you guys doing today? Welcome to another episode of the Power Up Podcast. Checking my mic here. Apparently, it's registering that it can hear me, so I'm hoping everybody could hear me. But how are you guys doing today? It is Tuesday. We usually do the show Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 p.m., depending on what happens. But appreciate everybody coming and hanging out, making time to keep yourselves up to date and sharp when it comes to the pop culture news. That is what this show is about, with the hopes of at least bringing up things that we can remember from our childhood, rekindling that nostalgic flame. I believe it is being snuffed, but we're kind of slowly seeing it get unweeded, if you will, and the poison being removed. But then again, you could also say that, hey, maybe it's time we need to make some new nostalgic memories that are awesome. Because right now, Hollywood's doing a terrible job. But not just Hollywood, movies, TV shows, board games like, Dungeons and Dragons, and video games. That's kind of one of my main thing that we like to talk about here on the show. And again, it keeps our mind up to date and sharp. So we've got some articles here covering a variety of different topics. If you enjoy that sort of stuff and you enjoy a super elite host such as myself, your awesome ginger host, give the subscribe button a punch. Give it a thumbs up. Turn on notifications to get notified when I go live. Appreciate it. Always try to bring something new here. I also try to incorporate whenever I can my studying of Scripture. We are founded on Christ, so that's kind of my unique twist, is to combine those sort of stuff together when I can see it. We've got some stuff in the pipeline that we're working on. What's up? I Like McDonald's over on Twitch. That is right. We are live on the Big Five: YouTube, Rumble, X, Kick, and Twitch. So thanks for hanging out. So a lot of buzz happening. We've got Sweeney causing lefties to melt down because she did an American Eagle ad, American jeans, or that happening. And people are freaking out, calling it fascism and all this nonsense. Lefties just being lefties, melting down. And chances are a lot of the people bashing Sweeney and this whole thing, they're probably fat and ugly. Let's just get that out of the way right now. But we'll take a look. We'll take a look at it. And the other big thing is the UK Online Safety Act has passed. And lo and behold, it is straight up censorship. So what can we do to fight that? Or how is that going to affect us? We'll take a look at it. But we also have some other articles as well. So let's hop in, shall we? X. Yep, we're over there. All right. So here's some uplifting news over on Niche Gamer. Mario Paint has been added to the Nintendo Switch Online. Nintendo has added Mario Paint to Nintendo Switch Online, the latest classic games for paid subscribers of the service. So clearly utilizing the new Switch 2 and the mouse feature in the Joy-Cons. Obviously, you got to be a subscriber to even play these sort of games, something I definitely have an issue with because I like to own my games. It'd be nice to just see Mario Paint be re-released, but whatever. Hey, Komanga, what's up? Over on YouTube. But it is there. They've got a blurb. We've got a thing we could watch. Trailer I'm going to mute it just because knowing Nintendo, they're going to suck. So I never played Mario Paint. Hold on a minute. Oh, no, we're good. But yeah, I never played Mario Paint. I grew up with the Sega Genesis. But I know for me, one of the family friends that we used to have back in the day, we would swap consoles. So when we would go to church, we would bring our Sega Genesis. They could have Sega. We would have Super Nintendo. We played some fun games, Super Mario World. And I think when we had it, we would go out and like rent a Super Nintendo game that I can remember. So I was wondering if they were going to show this, but yeah. So showing you what you can do with Mario Paint. So, okay. So they went out of their way to make the Joy-Con a mouse, but apparently you can also plug in a mouse. I mean, that's kind of what you used back in the day. Virtual console is better? Could be. Break room. And then, of course, the Fly game. So probably just showcasing, like, what it is. I don't know if they've updated this or anything like that, but if you're a fan of Mario Paint, also comes with, like, the Mario Music Maker sort of thing, too. And other games, looks like. So unlock the artist within. And the classic title originally released for Super Nintendo in 92. You can use simple mouse controls to draw pictures with all sorts of colors and drawing tools. You can even create animated sequences and write music to add to your collage. Bring your very own video creations to life by combining animation and music with the art you've made. Now, obviously, because this was an old school, an old school video game, I wonder if they've updated it to where it can be very, like, fine in terms of, like, your drawings and stuff. Because, back in the day, you're limited to the amount of pixels that it could have handled at the time and whatnot. It's not like Photoshop where you can, or even Illustrator where you can rasterize your image and all that stuff. So curious to know if, like, they kind of did something to make it where now that's possible. But there's some uplifting information. If you're a fan of Mario Paint, it is now on Nintendo Switch Online. And I'm by no means a Nintendo, like, shill, but it's nice little touch of nostalgia right here. Oh, I realized I didn't really break up a lot of these articles here. Whoops. Oh well. We'll hop into it. So if we hop over to Video Game Chronicle here, apparently Atari has agreed to acquire Thunderful for around 4.5 million euros, I'm assuming is what that is. Not sure. Or is that yen? I thought yen was something different. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out here. So Atari will now own around 82% of Thunderful shares, subject to shareholder approval next month. This is 5.19 million in US dollars. As announced in a press release today, Atari has agreed to buy 82% of Swedish video game holding company's share at a total price of SEK 50 million. The transaction is subject to shareholder approval, and an extraordinary general meeting has been set for on or about August 28th for a vote to take place. This transaction has received unanimous support from Thunderful's board of directors, as well as the existing largest shareholders, O. Bergstein and Brajan Sigurðsson. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but we gave it a shot. Who together own 29.9% of the capital and voting rights in the company. Atari CEO and chairman Wade Rosen said this transaction marks another important milestone in Atari's development with the expansion of its publishing and development capabilities in the European region. Thunderful is recognized for publishing and developing critically acclaimed games, and with the announcement with the announced transformation plan, as well as the quality and commitment of Thunderful's teams, we are confident that Thunderful will be returning to a profitable growth path while helping to develop Atari operations in Europe. So it looks like, according to this, looks like Atari has also acquired Digital Eclipse, Night Dive Studios, Moby Games Database. So Thunderful owns numerous studios in Gothenburg, Karlshamn, Malmo, and Skoved, and has published arms including Thunderful Publishing and Rising Star Games. Games published by Thunderful include Steam World Series, Lost in Random, Rainbreaker, Viewfinder, The Gunk, Lego Bricktales, and Cursed to Golf. The Thunderful Group announced plans to lay off a fifth of its staff as part of the restructuring process, which it said it was down to a number of over-investments. And pretty much they had to do that, they claim, in order to do that. So I didn't know how impactful this is, really, because I was just curious, though, of kind of what Thunderful has done, but I haven't heard any of those games. Maybe some people have heard it out there. Interesting, though. So also saw this. I guess we're just kind of going to go in order of like how I try to split up the articles, but whatever. This definitely caught my eye. Bloober team proved people wrong with Silent Hill 2, Kronos director says. There were a lot of voices. Oh no, Bloober is doing this. They will destroy that. So the director of Blooper Team's upcoming Kronos, The New Dawn, says the studio staff no longer feels like underdogs due to the success of its Silent Hill 2 remake. Well, let's be real here. You didn't work was obviously done, but it's not like you've made an entirely new game. You just took an already established game and remade it. Still with some things that I think are still very critical and unfortunately got pushed through the wayside for it being successful. I believe this game succeeded because it just mimicked the Resident Evil remakes, and with that sacrificed a lot of what was charmful about Silent Hill 2. And of course, new people aren't going to care about that. So again, I've kind of gave full thoughts about this in the past, but in a nutshell, for me, this is one of those games that, tip your hat for the success, praise it for where praise is due. But a lot of stuff got changed in there that doesn't make it Silent Hill 2. And unfortunately, a lot of people are fine ignoring that just because. So, whatever. So, Jacek Zeba explained that the studio was aware of the negativity. This was in an interview with PC Gamer when it was announced that it would be developing Silent Hill 2, following average views for its Blair Witch, The Medium, and Layer of Fear game. Silent Hill 2 was really... I want to know how, I wonder if there's an article out there that explains how exactly they were given this opportunity, especially when you have this list of average reviews. What was the magic ingredient that said, you know what, we'll give this Bloober team a chance? Haven't come across, kind of how that all came about. But in any case, was released with widespread critical acclaim. There were some critics on there for sure, me being one of them, and I still hold up to those critiques. And Seba said he believes that gives the studio more credibility and confidence. Again, I would be more impressed if this was a game that was built from the ground up and you turned everything around. That would be more impactful. The fact that you've just successfully remade a Silent Hill 2 game and didn't bastardize it that much, congratulations, you didn't suck. But is that something that is worth... is that a congratulations you would want in the end? But we've seen how a lot of these weirdos and all that stuff is, any attention is good attention, good or bad. So Silent Hill 2 remake for modern audiences, Psycho Monica. Yeah. So we are starting to stop feeling like underdogs all the time after Silent Hill, he explained. The Silent Hill era wasn't so easy in the eyes of the public. There are a lot of voices. Oh no, bloopers doing this. Or bloober. They will destroy it. It was very tough for the whole company to stick to our guns and put all our hearts into that thing, even if most people didn't want it. We proved people wrong, so that's nice. This is delusional. This is delusional. I'm sure there are some people that said, yeah, Blooper Studio shouldn't even be touching Silent Hill 2 remake. What a lot of people didn't want is the changes that you guys showed early on. And you did cave. You necessarily didn't prove people wrong. You caved. You compromised a little bit. And we saw that with James being youngified, because in the original, he looked fairly old than what he should have been. Maria, a lot of people were upset with Maria. And you changed it a little bit, not enough, in my opinion. And really, you changed it to what made Silent Hill to the Resident Evil remakes. That's a discussion in and of itself. Can you even consider this Silent Hill 2? Because it's like, again, with Resident Evil, you have your OG Resident Evil, which has that fixed camera where you can't see what's coming around the corner until the camera angle changes and switches. Same with Silent Hill 2. And even though the original creator said he was frustrated with the technology at the time with the camera angle, it definitely added a charm that made it unique. So despite this, Zeba said there's still pressure on the team to prove itself. It sold. The Video Game Chronicle, you made a spelling error. But this time it's pressure to deliver for the second time in a row. And yeah, and that's going to be awful because it's hard to, quote, capture lightning in a bottle twice. We're in a different moment, he said. I think we're riding the wave of people being intrigued and we need to deliver. We know we need to deliver. We put our hearts into all our games and we do whatever we can to make it the best. Except you changed a lot of stuff. So no, that's not true. You changed shit that no one asked you to do. Maybe someone else asked, maybe the higher ups asked you to do it. But I don't know. So last month, Konami and Bloober Team confirmed they are now working on remake of the original Silent Hill. First announced it earlier this year that it would be working together again on a new game, but the pair did not specify that it would be Silent Hill series. The trust built upon the success of Silent Hill 2 laid the foundations for signing another agreement for a new project. Again, where did the initial trust even come with? Because all I'm seeing is kind of this guy acknowledging that a lot of the games before Silent Hill 2 were average to suck. So I don't understand why this company was even given a chance to even try to do Silent Hill 2. So whatever. The studio said in a press release at the time, the deal aligns with Bloober Team's strategic plan to expand its internal development division within a first-party framework. And then, of course, Video Game Chronicles Silent Hill 2 reviewer says the remake proves the doubters wrong, calling it a faithful take on a survival horror classic. Now, Video Game Chronicles, you can go suck a dick. It was by no means a full, faithful take on the survival horror classic. It was a modern take. And a lot of people fell for it. Sorry. Hate to say it, but not really. That's what happened. And because it followed a successful formula, i.e. the Resident Evil remake, it succeeded. Because people responded positively to that. Oh, here we go. We got some comments. It was excellent in fairness. It wasn't the worst thing, particularly from a gameplay perspective, but from the point of Blooper sticking to their guns, they ended up altering the design of James quite a bit due to feedback. Yes, and it was needed. Also, the Maria actress was a complete miscast that wrenched me out of every scene she was in, which isn't great considering how central she is to the narrative. There's a bunch of other small moments I could cite, but that's going to happen when something is adapted and the original hit all the right notes. So there you go. Even the comments are showcasing on calling out on this guy's bullshit about, oh yeah, we stuck to our guns. No, you didn't, because you pissed people off saying, why does James look old? Apparently, Maria and the females looking more man-like than feminine-like, because you guys are pussies. Because apparently you have to cater to a small niche group. You banked on the success of the remakes of the Resident Evil, gameplay setup. So you knew that would be decent. But yeah, there you go. Also from Video Game Chronicles here, I guess I've been playing Pokemon Pocket a lot, so this just caught my eye in terms of the collectible card game. Apparently, a community pillar, Justin Basil, has died at 36. He was a devoted brother and passionate high school English teacher and a proud member of the Pokemon community. Jason Kingsford is his real name. 36. That is 1 year less than me. That ain't good. So according to Poke Beach, Kingsford passed away July 25th. No cause of death was shared. He was a devoted brother, passionate high school English teacher, proud member of the Pokemon community, according to his family. His Pokemon trading card game website, Justin Basil, was launched in 2019. The site is well known for its extensive coverage of the Pokemon TCG, including the latest news and cards from Japan. The site also features a well-loved deck-building tool, as well as information about upcoming changes to the competitive side of the card game. His sister Virginia took to the subreddit Pokemon TCG to express her gratitude to the community for the outpouring of support following Jason's passing. When someone in the chat mentioned donating to help, we honestly didn't expect much. She said, we hoped for anything, but kept our expectations low. What we received instead was overwhelming love, generosity, and the most beautiful stories about who Jason was to this community. We always knew he was passionate about Pokemon, but we didn't realize just how deeply he was respected, admired, and cared for. So they have a GoFundMe. Oh gosh, what is that? Blue Sky? Oh. Thank you truly for your kindness, your words, and your support. It has brought real comfort to our family during one of the hardest moments of our lives. It's already passed its goal of 16,000. Popular Pokemon YouTuber Leon Hart, who made a donation to the page, wrote, Jason was an incredible member of the community and he will be greatly missed. His contribution was immense, but his stamp on the world was a caring personality, was even better. So I thought that was rather kind of touching, and it relates to card games, which I enjoy as well. I'm more Dragon Ball Z, but I don't play the Super card game. I play the old school Score 2000 and the 2016 Panini revision of the game, which also is discontinued. So my nostalgia is dying in terms of that over there. But you can still find stuff on like Facebook and whatnot. But yeah, I'm a little concerned on why he passed away at just a young age. But rest in peace. Sounds like he made a big impact to the Pokemon trading card community. But I thought that was kind of touching. Oh, we'll get to this one here in a second. Microsoft is rolling out Xbox age verification to comply with the UK's Online Safety Act. Of course, Microsoft would do that, but again, we'll get to that here in a minute. This is why I was a tad bit annoyed and I forgot to like organize my tabs here. So we'll get to that. So over on Tech for Gamers here, they have an article talking about God of War TV show. Guys hear about that? Well, it's apparently happening in 2026. Filming starts, and it's adapting the Norse era, which is okay, but retarded, because God of War all stemmed from the Greek mythology. Why would you skip that whole section? Is 100% retarded and stupid. And unfortunately, I feel like it has to deal probably with the fact that by today's standards, it probably isn't they think it would be received well, but I guarantee you people would love it. But the fact they're just skipping all that is rather insulting. God of War TV show produced by Prime Video, oh boy, was announced in 2022. Show had a different team earlier, but towards the end of last year, underwent a shakeup, which led to a new team taking over. Now details has been revealed. Showrunner Ronald D. Moore recently revealed some key information about the God of War show, revealing it will adapt the Norse era from the 2018 reboot of the game. Moreover, it is scheduled to begin filming in 2026, although scripts are still being written. Komanga says, I want the Greek era. Exactly. Why would you just skip all that? Well, we know why. It's because it's not progressive in their eyes. And they're trying to bank on the recent reboot, which is not all of Kratos' story, especially if they try to steer this into an origin story. Another thing that's weird, too. Like, what exactly are they trying to showcase in the God of War TV show here? Like, do you want to establish a story? Like, unfortunately, this is a series where you do need to establish the story, especially since it's been it's like a huge part of what made Kratos Kratos. And you don't even need to you could sprinkle it throughout the series. Like, have him already just going ham on the Greek gods. And then, as corny and as overused as it is, just use quick flashbacks to showcase. That's literally what the video game does. Minus the, the prologue prologue, right? From the video game. But anyway, it confirms that the show won't be adapting the older game set in the Greek era, instead opting to skip directly to the later stages of Kratos' life, which is absolutely stupid because you can't ignore an era that literally made Kratos who he is and why he is the way now. It is absolutely idiotic to completely ignore it. So he discussed the upcoming God of War show at San Diego Comic-Con 2025. It'll begin 2026. With season 2 already greenlit? How do you know if season 1's going to be good? The show takes place during the Norse era. Focus on Atreus and Kratos. I don't know if they purposely word it this way, but there's your hint right there. Atreus first, Kratos second, even though it's literally called God of War. So Cory Barlog is also involved with the title, the God of War director. It has also been confirmed that it won't copy the game frame for frame, but will instead adapt the game with the relationships between father and son at its central point. So the one time where a upcoming video game series says, yeah, we're not making it frame actually a set. It won't be frame by frame, but it will adapt from the game. And you don't include what made God of War God of War. Oh my gosh. Moore recently admitted that he isn't a big gamer. Oh, that's not good. Then what would you know anything about video games, let alone the God of War series? While he has tried to play the game, he just can't get a hold of the controls. This does not sound good at all. Holy moly. Fortunately, Barlog will be there for assistance so that we can hope for a faithful adaptation. Well, it's already destroyed because you're not even including the Greek part in the show. In literally the first live adaptation of God of War. Oh my gosh. Not good. Not looking good. Not looking good at all. Remember Sweet Baby Inc. and how they're pretty much dying and hopefully will fade from history and be forever damned? Well, apparently a former employee from Sweet Baby Inc. advocates for stealing ideas from books in a GDC presentation. What is a gosh darn, I don't know what the C stands for. Presentation. The origins of Kratos, says Komanga. Yep. Are Sweet Baby Inc. employees stealing from books? Very, very interesting use of a young African American woman referring to about stealing. Uh-oh, did I go there? I sure did. And you know what? If you don't like it, you can.
Go yourself.
So Sweet Baby Inc., the narrative consulting firm, or more importantly, the bastardizing consulting firm, known for its work on high-profile titles like Ragnarok and South of Midnight, has once again found itself at the center of a heated debate. Recently surfaced video analysis from the Gothic Therapy YouTube channel claims that a former SBI employee openly admitted to stealing ideas from books during a public presentation at the Game Developers Conference. The old Game Developers Conference. This revelation, presented as evidence of unethical practices, has sparked discussion about creativity, inspiration, and intellectual property in gaming. The find was originally highlighted by the YouTube channel Gothic Therapy, by Master of the TDS, Writing Raven, who dissected the talk in their video titled Sweet Baby Theft. Ex-SBI member admits they steal ideas from books. Uploaded on July 28th of 2025, so that was yesterday. Gothic Therapy video provides critical commentary on what they describe as insane talk, where SBI's practices are exposed without shame. The video focuses on a 2022 presentation by Amber Lee Blake, who identified herself as a project coordinator at Sweet Baby Inc. Talk's provocative title, Let's Steal from Books, sets the tone with Amber Lee introducing herself in the topic earlier on. Hi, and she goes, yeah, hi, I'm here. The lay is not optional in your list. My name is Amber Lay. The lay is not optional, and you're listening to Let's Steal from Books. What? She identified, that is, why? Just, for fuck's sakes, just say your name and move on. God of War Ragnarok. She identifies as a published writer, poet, and dyslexic. Who gives a shit? I'm dyslexic too. Like, who gives a fuck? Oh my gosh. Making a repeated comment that laughing at her mistakes would be ableist, which the hosts mock as an overly serious attempt at humor or a deflection tactic. What? This already sounds like cringe, and I'm just reading the text. She argues that books are more imaginative, accessible, and better at risk-taking than video games, stating, I feel no shame in saying I like books more than video games. Who would say... Who are these... I feel like it's no joke. The people who are going around saying that there are people out there shaming you for liking books more than video games are literally these people. Her. And then they project that onto, like, us. The incels, the toxic masculinity, the right-wing bigots, and XYZ. all of this fear stems from them. The host questions her role in the industry. I'd question how you even got in the industry, but whatever. Then why do you work in video games? They also challenge her claim that books are easier to consume, pointing out the contradiction given her dyslexia and raising concerns about accessibility for illiterate audiences. What, you want publishers to make different various books? You know, a first edition, a second edition, a third edition, a dyslexic edition. And I mean, it ain't the publisher, and I'm sorry, it's not the publisher's responsibility to help illiterates learn how to read. Go take a class, take a reading class, hire a reading specialist to help you. The core of the controversy lies in the discussion of, quote, stealing ideas inspired by Austin Kleon's book, Steal Like an Artist. Well, yeah. I mean, actors say that all the time. You know, good actors borrow, great actors steal. So I got this idea from this talk from the book Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. She said it's about how to pull from multiple mediums to create something that's truly your own. I mean, that's what everyone does. So I don't know. This is kind of a stretch here. I feel like everybody takes an idea from something else. You can call it inspired. I mean, the only chance it can be stealing is like verbatim. You're taking everything that is written and just copying and pasting it and putting it into a thing. Then that's one thing. But let's see. So I got this idea. Okay, I read that. So you contrast good theft, honoring, studying, and crediting work, with bad theft, degrading, plagiarizing, or ripping off. Degrading. Like critiquing. Good theft with bad theft. And let me take a wild guess. What these people are doing are the good theft, and what everyone else does is the bad theft, which really is they're the ones doing the bad theft and taken from the good theft. Again, the projection. Host dismisses this as a weak justification, arguing if you're stealing ideas from books, it means you're not talented and your games suck. They further mock her definition with master of the TDS, sarcastically noting, do you know the definition of stealing is to credit them and honor them? Amberly provides book recommendations such as a declaration of the Red Magicians by... Okay, whatever. Mentions the manga Gray. However, her inclusion of horror as a genre is met with confusion, and she admits, I will not provide examples. I am bitch made and cannot handle scary games already. Dude, I'm more annoyed by the lingo that these people use. I could care less. Like, we're getting to a point where at some point someone has stolen an idea or whatever. Like, this idea, like, this sort of article is a little iffy for me. This is one where, like, I understand what they're getting at, but let's be real. Like, is there such a thing as originality anymore? No. Even scripture says everything. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything has been done. Like, so, you know, I'm more annoyed by, like, the slang being used here. Oh my gosh. This led the host to question the relevance of coherence of her presentation. The talk concludes with Amberly urging developers to steal more from books to explore new ideas and perspective. I mean, I think she's definitely purposely using this, steal more, when you could easily just say, yeah, if you want to find more creativity out there, or you need influence or need to find an element and you really like an element, like, explore new ideas and perspective. You could easily say that, but yeah, the lingo here of saying steal more is whatever. There are more ideas out there to explore than just looking at what your peers are doing, she said. Dude, I'm sorry. The way you're talking, you are by no means someone who seems to encourage the idea of more ideas out there to explore more, because you're the type of people that would say certain ideology needs to be banished, censored, removed, even Minecrafted. So I love it when these people are like, "Oh, go out there and explore some more." It's like, no, 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 no. What you really want them to do is you want people to look at your stuff and praise it with such high praise, and that the wrong thing needs to be, destroyed and buried. Trope mashups or perspectives you don't even know you need it or want it. I'm not saying you haven't read books or been inspired by them. I'm just saying we should steal more. Gothic therapy, right here. This is literally, even reading this hits the nail on the head for me. What did you tell us? I didn't learn anything. That's it. Like, there's nothing else to say, in my opinion. I skimmed through some stuff, meaning like live. Other than that, this is full transparency right here. This is my first reaction to seeing this. And this sums it all up. What did you tell us? I didn't learn anything. My gosh. Gothic therapy video frames Amber Lay's talk as a shocking confession of intellectual theft, aligning with broader criticism of Sweet Baby Inc.'s approach to game development. The host argues that advocating for stealing reflects a lack of creativity, especially from a company involved in high-profile games accused of uninspired narratives. Master of the TDS points to the track record of Sweet Baby Inc., suggesting the fact that you could steal from books and still not make good games says a lot about you guys. Yeah, that right there. That's another really good one. You're encouraging people to steal, and you're like the shittiest theft in the world. That ain't good. You can't even be good at stealing, and here you are trying to promote stealing. Oh my lord. And then, oh yeah. So I think the artwork, or the article is just now going to pad about what Sweet Baby Inc. does. So, excuse me. So, yeah, we're going to kind of skim through this. While Amber Lay's reference Steal Like an Artist, which promotes ethic inspiration through remixing and creating sources, the host rejects this as a flimsy excuse, insisting that any form of stealing is inherently lazy. They also criticize the presentation's lack of focus, noting that Amber Lay spends much of the talk recommending books unrelated to gaming, such as love triangles and manga. Well, I mean, that's actually a good thing. Like, manga is actually doing a lot better than comics. So there's there's a silver lining, a very, very thin one, but it is there. Read manga. Controversy is gaining traction on platforms X from a post from Master at the TDS. Sweet Baby Inc. is the gift that keeps on giving. Tells devs to steal from books to make games. Not hyperbole, not a joke, just straight up theft. Sentiment reflects growing frustration among some gamers who view Sweet Baby Inc. as emblematic of broader industry issues, including perceived declines in narrative quality. So yeah, we pretty much got the gist of the article here. Like, go ahead and watch their movie or the video if you want, but dear Lord, just reading through that, like, was a struggle. 'Twas a struggle, but we got through it. Also, shout out to Brent over on the Rumble for subscribing. I appreciate it. Thanks. Hello to everyone out there in X. Got some nice viewers. How you guys doing? We're live on the Big Five. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Feel free to give a follow on X if you want to. Leave a comment over on Rumble as well. So we try to finish up that unique chat engagement for the content monetization program, which is a little gay. Not gonna lie, that criteria. It's retarded. Not necessary. Not even at any way at the level of like Twitch and Kick to have those criterias. But I've expressed my thoughts on that. already. But yeah, feel free to let me know what you guys think about the show and how we're doing. And if you don't like it, leave a dislike. That's fine too. All right. Another that Park Place article. Got Warner Brothers and Discovery Globe officers list shows no diversity or inclusion officers. Is WB ditching DEI? I feel like I read that very, very poorly, but we're going with it. So a lot of you may not know, Warner Brothers is apparently splitting into two companies. At Park Place received information that seems to show Warner Brothers and Discovery are ditching DEI. We'll hold, we'll hold our breaths on this, but very interesting. Well, thank you, Komanga. He says, you're doing fantastic. As your super elite host, I give nothing but pure professionalism here on the show. 100% professionalism, no stuttering, no pauses, awkwardness of any kind. 100% perfectionist at the max, with no technical errors ever happening in all of existence. All the more reason why you should tune in and hang out. Or I'm a huge lying douchebag. Chances are it's the latter, but that's all right. So in a move that has sparked widespread discussion in entertainment circles, Warner Brothers Discovery announced today that the names of its two split entities so it's going to be, looks like Warner Brothers, which will encompass the company's streaming service like Max and movie studio assets, and Discovery Global, focusing on cable networks, HGTV, Food Network, the TLC. This restructuring effectively underdoes much of the 2022 merger between Warner Media and Discovery Incorporated, which created WBD under CEO David Zaslav. The split comes in a time when Warner Brother or WBD has faced financial pressure, including a report $9.1 billion write down in its TV network business in Q2 2024, mid declining cable subscriptions and advertising revenue. The decision to separate is positioned as a strategic pivot to allow each entity to operate independently, potentially attracting investors or buyers for the cable-heavy Discovery Global side. Apparently, Zaslav, who has overseen aggressive cost-cutting since the merger, including layoffs, content cancellation, describes the move as a way to, quote, unlock value for shareholders. However, the announcement has also, I don't know why I threw on that voice, but we did. However, the announcement has also fueled speculation about deeper cultural and operational shifts. Nothing but professionalism here. Particularly regarding diversity, equality, inclusion, DEI initiatives at both Warner Brothers and Discovery Globe. Investigative journalist Jonas C. Campbell of That Park Place shared on X shortly after the split news that he obtained an internal WBD employee email listing officers for the post-split Warner Brothers and Discovery Globe entities. Campbell's thread highlighted a notable absence: no officers with titles related to pretty much DEI. Warner Brothers should never have DEI in the first place. DEI shouldn't even exist in the first place, because anybody who's normal would realize that when you hire someone based on their merits and their talents and pretty much their skills speak for their work, should get the job. Because that's literally how reality works and how it worked in the past, and there was never a fucking problem. The only problem, and any sort of problems, was taken care of long, long ago. DEI is literally racism in its rawest form. That's what it is. So the list for Warner Brothers include all of these people. I'm not going to read it off, as well as the Discovery Global list. But the point, again, being brought out that nothing DEI is in that list. Campbell noted that it's seeking a CFO and a Chief People of Culture Officer, but emphasized the lack of any DEI-specific roles for either company. This revelation aligns with broader trends in Hollywood and corporate America, where companies have been scaling back or rebranding DEI programs under political and economic pressure. And unfortunately, that's kind of what I feel Warner Brothers is going to do. They're just going to rebrand it as something else. But we'll see what happens. The question of whether the newly separated Warner Brothers and Discovery Global are, quote, ditching DEI is timely, given the company's history and recent actions. They have indeed moved away from explicit DEI frameworks, a process that accelerated in early 2025 following the Trump administration crackdown on federal DEI policies. And then in February, it announced it was renaming its DEI groups to focus solely on inclusion, dropping reference to diversity and equity in internal policies and communication. See, right there. So it's not gone away. So, I mean, just expect some bullshit to happen. Staff memo from head of HR, Jennifer Remling, and Chief Global Inclusion Officers, Asif Sadiq, stated that this change, quote, better aligns our language with our focus throughout the company. Right there, too. They just straight up admitted it that, yeah, we're just changing our language. This is what they do. When they get caught with their hand in the cookie jar, they'll try to lie their way out saying you're mistaken, you're not seeing this, and then try to justify, well, this is actually fair because it wasn't fair for me back in the day, blah, 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 blah. And then finally it's like, no, you got caught. Then it's like, okay, yeah, you're right. Well, okay. Well, you won't catch me do it again, I promise. And then it's like, okay, guys, well, we got caught stealing. So we're just not going to call it stealing anymore. We're going to call it, five-finger borrowing or something like that. This is what they do. It's all about language. And we've seen this before, some Orson, the Olson Wells or whatever the fuck it's called. It's all about control, and language is used as a big part. I wanted to say Orson Welles, but I think that was the actor, right? It is. Orwellian, I think, is what I was thinking. Orwell, now that I think about it. Yeah, Orwell, 1984. There we go. Orson Welles. He was powerful enough that he could convince a lot of people. This is true. Not in the slightest. I don't know. So changing the language, referring a commitment to a, quote, inclusive team. Yeah. Company also ceased participating in third-party workplace diversity surveys and eliminating DEI-related hiring quotas, pure racism, including questions about applicants' race, gender, and ethnicity in many U.S. roles. This shift was part of a larger Hollywood retreat from DEI, influenced by executive orders banning DEI in federal agencies and threats of investigations into corporate practices. We should have just investigated them anyway. Like, fuck them. They're going to try to weasel out something. Just fucking investigate them. Companies like Disney, Paramount, Amazon similarly scaled back programs, with Paramount fully eliminating DEI initiatives by mid-2025, including in casting and supplier selection. This says Hollywood, though, but isn't that like retarded list of like being nominated for an Oscar still exists, where it has to have a person of color as a main cast and all that garbage. So this is explaining more about early cuts, lost key black DEI leaderships in a short span, raising questions about sustained commitment. However, its stance hasn't been completely abandoned. As recently as 2024, Chief Asif Sadiq again advocated strongly for DEI, even endorsing tactics to excise non-supporters from the company, such as ignoring or discriminating against them to encourage voluntary exit. Yeah. And his ass should be sued if he's straight up saying that, yeah, we should exercise these. By 2025, evidence suggests a deliberate de-emphasis. Its former DEI page no longer exists. Suffer and succotash. Okay, first of all, Daffy doesn't say that. Believe Sylvester the Cat says that. Daffy might have said it here and there, but I always think of Sylvester. Why do they have a picture? Warner Brothers doesn't even know their own characters. Daffy Duck doesn't say that. Here, we're going to solve this right now. Because I remember, like, from Space Jam, the sweet Space... Not the Space Jam 2. Not that shitty one. The first Space Jam. Suffering Succotash. Dude, literally just typed in Suffering Succotash in the search. Sylvester. Fucking knew it. Daffy Duck does not say that. This says Sylvester the cat and Daffy Duck were frequent users of this term, which is likely because of their overly pronounced speech impediments. But Daffy is more iconic that he doesn't need that catchphrase. Like, Sylvester, unfortunately, kind of falls at, like, C-list level here. I'm sorry, but my default of hearing Suffering Succotash is not Daffy Duck. It's Sylvester. You know it, and I know it, and everybody knows it. Anyway, minus that little nitpick. The new office lists omissions of any DEI roles combined with the split, indicates the separate companies may prioritize merit-based operations over formalized DEI structures. Almost like merit-based operations always worked because they worked in the past. Why would they not work now? Mirror actions at peers like PBS, which fired DEI in February 2025, and Goldman Sachs or whatever. In summary, while they haven't explicitly ditched all the inclusive practices, the renaming cuts and lack of dedicated officers in the new entities substantiate a significant retreat from DEI as a branded priority. But we shall see. We shall see. So coming up on an hour here, we'll get to the main ones here. I thought this was funny. Online movement seeks to nominate Disney's banned Song of the South for the National Film Registry. It's a rather long article. I just think it's funny because obviously this is like a huge debate. They got rid of Splash Mountain and all that stuff and replaced it with something else. Believe that was from Song of the South. So that's an article over on that Park Place, but just for time's sake, we're going to skip it. I just thought it's funny. Just Song of the South. And apparently an online movement seeks to nominate it. This one you can find over in Bounding into Comics as well. Again, I don't know how long the art... it's not that long, but... So we're getting God of War. Apparently we're getting a Wolfenstein TV series too, adaptation from Amazon Studios. Oh boy. So in a story first broken by Variety with the hit series Fallout being renewed for a third season, they now have their sights, that would be Amazon and MGM Studios, have their sights set on the video game world with upcoming shows such as Mass Effect and God of War. They're even venturing into the laptop sphere with Warhammer 40,000 starring Henry Cavill. But they're not ready to hit the pause button just yet. So now they'll be bringing the super slaughter of super soldiers to the small screen with a series based on the classic first-person shooter, Wolfenstein. Hooray! This says the final boss gives off a real Charlie Chaplin vibe in Wolfenstein 3D. My goodness gracious. I can think of another fella whose eyes were pure black, more than Charlie Chaplin. Not Amazon Studios again. They're just padding this with like kind of Castle Wolfenstein. You're an Allied POW during World War II, locked in a Ratsy castle, waiting interrogation by the SS Stormtroopers. The SS Stormtroopers. Do you want to know why? The game was critically acclaimed. I came to like 5 minutes ago, acclaimed and became one of the highly selling games of the early 80s. It was followed by Beyond Castle Wolfenstein, Wolfenstein 3D, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, Wolfenstein Enemy Territory, Wolfenstein RPG, Wolfenstein 2009, Wolfenstein The New Order, Wolfenstein Old Blood, and Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, Wolfenstein Youngblood, and Wolfenstein Cyberpilot. Holy crap, I did not realize there was a lot of Wolfenstein games. My goodness. Castle Wolfenstein would lay the foundation for first-person shooter games that influence future classics such as Doom, Counter-Strike, Halo, Borderlands, every Tom Clancy game, and the forgotten 1990 gem, The Super Spy for Neo Geo. I'm sure it was one of the games that laid foundation. You could also say GoldenEye as well. Throw that into there. Serving as the creator, writer, executive producer, and showrunner will be Patrick Somerville under the chaoticgood.tv production banner. Executive producers are Fallout alum Jonathan Christopher's little brother. Jonathan Nolan, Lisa Joy, Ethan Wickham from Kilter Films, James Altman of Keyframe Films, and Jerk Gustafsson of Wolfenstein developer and Mashing Games. His first name is Jerk. Oh man, maybe it's Yerk. But oh man, somebody's parents hated somebody that day. JK Jerk, just kidding. I'm sure you're a nice modern gentleman. A fan of the Wolfenstein game since childhood, Somerville is best known for creating the shows Maniac at Netflix, Station 11, HBO Max, and Station 11. HBO, you know, the last, or was it Paramount that did it? I remember the very last series that I took out of my time during the day to watch the newest episode was Constantine, the Constantine series. And I was so mad that they canceled it. But nothing has been announced yet in terms of the show's plot, desired casting choices, or which entry it will take more inspiration from. But the official tagline reads, "The story of killing Nazis is evergreen." There you go. This comes as no surprise in a world where the right pair of eyes can walk outside their front doors and find one behind every blade of grass. Doing best, killing Nazis. All right. So there's that one. So that was a rather short article. I got this one on Fandom Wire. I don't know how long this article is, but it's just interesting that because Hulk Hogan, as everybody knows, has passed away, Ric Flair has apparently chimed in stating that he could be next and that he fears death after Hulk Hogan has passed away. So, yeah, it definitely brings, and I don't think just Ric Flair, but I think anytime we see a popular icon that has spanned throughout the times pass away, it definitely makes you think about humanity and how we all have a designated point with the Maker in some day, shape, and form. And someone being of faith, hope everybody comes to accept Christ and ask for repentance, and you will inherit and receive salvation. But still, that doesn't, until he comes back and sets everything right and, death loses its sting, it is still something that is very much real and things that we have to accept. So Ric Flair has stunned the WWE Universe by delivering a bombshell of statements concerning his health at the Ariel Helwani show. The words from the WWE Hall of Fame reveal the state of mind he's in, and for longtime wrestling fans, a somber cloud hangs over the horizon. So, in the wake of Hulk Hogan's demise, he, a living legend of the ring, battles health issues and serious comorbidities. Although there are no intimate reasons for concern, Hulk Hogan also had no underlying reasons to worry about, but his sudden demise has instilled fear in the heart of Ric Flair. So all of this kind of has given him second thoughts about the state of his physical health as of now. And Ric Flair, he knows, he's been known and still does like to party and consume that alcohol. Drugs, I'm not sure. But as far as his health is concerned, he's not 100% fit. He expressed the uncertainty around his health during the conversation and shared this. I've had some serious health issues, but I don't have an ache or pain in my body. Of course, it gives me anxiety that I could be next. So the physical state of Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair is a striking resemblance. Like Hogan, the Nature Boy has also suffered multiple issues during his career, WWE and beyond. Interestingly, there's no immediate cause of concern that could be a reason for an unfortunate fatality. These similarities may have forced Flair to draw the parallel with Hulk Hogan. There are plausible reasons for his anxiety. In 2017, he was placed in a medical-induced coma due to a bowel obstruction, kidney failure, and congestive heart failure. These issues originated due to continued alcohol abuse for a prolonged period, like I just said. And then back in 2022, during his final match in WWE, he unknowingly suffered a heart attack. The 17-time world champion had to subsequently go through a heart procedure after the incident. His other prolonged ailments include battling skin cancer twice in 3 years and recently announcing that he's finally cancer-free. However, concerns for a potential relapse still exists. Just as a day after announcing himself cancer-free, he shared a photo of himself with a serious cut on his forehead. The injury forced him to miss a scheduled appearance, and further speculate grew that the Hall of Famer is not fine. And then during a convention, he shared that he contacted Hogan 3 times in the past month to give him some business advice, but at no point did the veteran wrestler mention any issues with his health. According to Flair, Hogan was tired of his deteriorating condition because there's a limit to the extent to which the body can suffer. Hogan and Flair shared the ring for several years as colleagues, competitors, and partnerships. Their lifelong friendship extends beyond the shared association inside the squared circle. Flair reflects on the life and legacy of Hulk Hogan, sharing his thoughts in a few poignant and thought-provoking words. He was such a giving guy. I mean, I know people don't realize Hogan was doing Make-A-Wish before. Make-A-Wish before Make-A-Wish was Make-A-Wish. Every night I was with him for 2 years. Every night he would take time. I say to Jay Strong, Jay, where's Hulk? He's doing Make-A-Wish. So we all know what that means now because it is more appreciated because of social media. But he was the first before John Cena. And then Hogan continuing talking about Hogan. Got some pictures here. Look at that. Covered in blood. Woo! Tense inside the... Never see that nowadays. Hogan's unfortunate demise, Ric Flair long retired from professional wrestling. The memories live on as it cherished moments in wrestling history. We would hold on to hope that Ric Flair continues to thrive long enough to share even more unforgettable stories from his time alongside the greatest names in sports entertainment. So, yeah, just a quick one just to showcase... we all have an appointed time. So, Fandom Pulse. We've seen this. Feminist activist Anita Scarsezian defends pornographic video games while condemning puritanical angry moms. And I think I saw somewhere on... with Mercante, like she's kind of double stepping on like the collective, like she's like now talking about collective shout and all this stuff, like pretty much being a hypocrite. Something about that. You can see that on X. But yeah, Nita Scarsezian ruining video games since she saw it could be exploited. Apparently defending pornographic video games while simultaneously condemning puritanical angry mobs in a post to a Blue Sky, of course, because heaven forbid, grow a pair of balls and say something on X. Someone give this brilliant book to the puritanical angry mobs who bullied payment processors into all but banning porn games. The reason we have online payment processors is because of sex work. It was invented to pay for porn. In a subsequent post, she added, I really hope someone starts a counter campaign to fight the regressive, puritanical nonsense. There are way more people who want to buy and support sex work and sexual material, or at the very least, don't think it should be banned. Yeah, sure, whatever there, Anita. Heaven forbid there's a video game that shows the old school trope damsel in distress, Mario saving Peach. You were super pissed off about that, but yeah, make sure make sure women have can make a way to make money while showing their assholes on OnlyFans. First off, online payment processors were not invented to pay for pornography. Pizza Hut was one of the first companies to execute an online payment back in '94 when it launched PizzaNet through pizzahut.com. First pizza ordered was reportedly a pepperoni and mushroom pizza. That person should be burned at the stake. How dare mushroom even be associated onto pizza? Insulting. PayPal would be formed by the merger between Elon Musk's X.com, Peter Thiel's Confinity in '99. The company would eventually be purchased by eBay in 2002, and the service became the default payment method for most eBay users. Secondly, her comments appear to be in reaction to Steam owner Valve revealing that it was pressured by payment processors Visa and MasterCard to ban pornographic games from its marketplace. Valve spokesman informed PC Gamer, "We were recently notified that certain games on Steam may violate the rules and standards set forth by our payment processors and their related card networks bank. As a result, we are trying those games from being sold on the Steam store." Again, if it wasn't breaking the law in general, as much as you hate it, don't want to see it, Visa and MasterCard can go 69 themselves and fist their assholes. Straight up retarded. Piss off. Someone needs to make just another. This is how it's becoming, to where we're at the point now where expect these companies just to start being scumbags, and we just got to make an alternative. Get that built up enough and, do it right, and then let these guys fizzle out and die. Now, with the payment processing, that might be hard just because we read on a past show between Visa and MasterCard, they're like 90% of all credit card transaction. So I don't know how that's not a monopoly, but it is. Well, it is, as in that's the reality of it, is what I mean to say, but stupid. In fucking Australia, following these games being banned from Steam, an Australian activist organization, Collective Shout, proclaimed responsibility for them being banned. Posted on X, "Since we launched our campaign, called on payment processors to stop facilitating payments for rape, incest, sexual torture, child abuse themed games on Steam. They have added a new rule to their policies, plus removed hundreds of these games." I will never use Visa or MasterCard. I've used them before. I mean, I'd have to look into alternatives. There's Discovery, of course. I don't know what else there are. See, and that's kind of the thing. We're kind of stuck into a spot to where we don't have that much alternatives. And if you want to boycott stuff, go ahead and boycott stuff. I'm very careful to what I would determine of who I would support and how hard I would boycott stuff. Because to me, at the end of the day, you're going to find something that you like that is somehow associated to the thing you're boycotting. And it's like, how extreme are you going to take it? Because to me, at some point, you're just going to become an island unto yourself, where you're going to find out in some way, shape, and form, whatever you like at some point was involved with this area that you didn't like. And therefore, you're a hypocrite because, you said you're not going to support this, and here you are, unknowingly, or maybe knowingly. I don't know. But also, that comes also to the mind that shaming people for being a hypocrite has become so overdone. That also has lost its meaning. But we know one side that gets really pissed off when you call them out on their hypocrisy, but yet then they project their hypocrisy onto people all the time. So, whatever. And then they just go on talking about, look how awesome we are. We got all these games removed and stuff like that. Additionally, the organization movement director, Melinda Tankard Reese quoted an extract from an article written by Natasha Bida in the Australian hundreds of sexually violent online games that let players roleplay rape, incest, and torture. I mean, I read it fully just a moment ago, so I don't know why I'm kind of self-censoring myself now. But rape, incest, and the torture of women and children have been suddenly removed from the global gaming platform Steam. I'm not big enough on YouTube yet to get struck, but you guys can change that if you hit that like and subscribe button, by the way. We're live on the Big Five: YouTube, Rumble, X, Kick, and Twitch. Make sure to say hi on all the platforms. Feel free to follow me if you like it. If you don't like it, feel free to leave a dislike, because I ain't losing sleep over it. Yeah, pretty much they're just jacking off on how, like, proud they are for being a bunch of beta bitches and being a bunch of pussies and going to the payment processors to get stuff that they don't like taken off. All right, there you go. And, of course, icing on the cake, Anita Scarsese, of course, would defend this sort of stuff. All right, we have made it. We have made it to the main topics at hand, and that is Sydney Sweeney. Yes, newsflash to everybody out there. She is hot. She's hot. She did a Gene ad, and a lot of lefties melting down over it because they are not hot. And they got dealt a raw hand. We've all been dealt a raw hand in genes, genetically, clothingly. I don't know if that's a word, but we're going with it. And, and other things. Now, here's the thing. So that you can work out and get into shape and do things to lessen that ugliness. But the people freaking out over this are fat. And usually has probably some sort of nose rings or something like that. And are a bunch of pussies. And that's how it seems to be. Because Sydney Sweeney's American Eagle ad is stirring up a lot of kerfuffle, if you will. So much so that it's being slammed, apparently, from this New York Post that I found, as Nazi propaganda by crazed woke mob over jeans and jeans puns. It's a pun. Now, what's funny is that I'm amazed at these woke mob retards understand what a pun is. But they do have some sort of intelligence. Might be very little, but it's there because they were able to see the difference. Maybe. So Leftist TikTok is in full pitchfork and torch mode after a new ad for American Eagle jeans featuring actress Sydney Sweeney used a play on words, with some claiming it's a full-on Nazi propaganda. Oh my gosh. That apparently being white, being hot, and looking hot in jeans is it's Nazi propaganda. It's that fascism. Just never ends. Oh my gosh. All I can say is that these
This guy must be a fag.
100% fags. The ad features Sweeney, 27, clad in a pair of the brand's jeans and denim jacket, talking about her jeans/jeans. Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even color she intones in a spot. Here is the commercial.
From parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My jeans are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has great genes.
There you go. Man, could you just feel the fascism just oozing out from your screen and just like, just engulfing you? I could. The clip went viral after it was posted by a Sweeney fan account, but then the account later went private following the backlash on Sunday. Well, there's your mistake right there. Don't go private. Fuck these people. Tell them to get bent. Another longer ad uses the same punny tagline. I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans, and I definitely won't say they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn, or that they make your butt look amazing. Why would I need to do that? She said in a 30-second spot. But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans. She says as the text, Sydney Sweet has great jeans, appears on the screen, and a male voiceover reads the words. A male voiceover dominating over the hot and beautiful Sydney Sweeney? Unacceptable. So not only do we have fascism in here, we have sexism as well. Guys, this is just getting worse and worse. What are we going to do? This play on the homophone of jeans and jeans was enough to trigger the woke mom, with many on the left interpreting it as a nod to eugenics, with some going so far as to outright call it Nazi propaganda. I thought it was going to be like kind of bad, but wow, that's going to be in history books, one TikTok user post. And just to get that disgusting sort of slang out of my ears, we're going to play this
Buy American Eagle chains. I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans. And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn.
Okay, I have an issue right here.
I'm not here to tell you to
clearly they're showing her bust here and cleavage, and I'm super offended because this isn't unbuttoned enough. I mean, this button needs to come out as well.
Buy American Eagle jeans. And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. Or that they make your butt look amazing. Why would I need to do that? But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Sydney Sweeney has very keen.
You see what I did there, right?
And to be a perv, great boobs. Because newsflash to people out there, men like women because that's how it was made by the Lord himself. And we like curvy figures. We like butts and breasts and, whatever else. Because we are programmed that way. Because that's how the good Lord made it. So these fat whales that are freaking out about this ad can go. Well, first off, they need to get, we need Greenpeace to push them back into the water. And then they can just stay in the darkest depths of the ocean forever. I will be the friend that's too woke, but those Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ads were weird. Like, oh yeah, this is like one of these like TikTokers have made a video. Do I actually have that? Here it is. So this, I found Yellow Flashes. He posted this. This is the response, folks, of these weirdos. And not surprised, by the way. You got, look at me almost saying American flag because that's how it should be, because America can encompass a lot of things, even your retarded LGBTQ flag. But not surprised at all.
Surprised that a company whose name is literally American Eagle is making fascist propaganda like this?
I'm not surprised that the person making this video is a fat whale with a nose ring. So I was right. Jeez.
Probably not, but it's still really shocking. Like, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman is talking about...
You're white. So this is what I love. I love how liberal these white, fat, liberal women apparently think they get that because they're calling out this stuff, they get a free pass for like bashing other white women. Obviously, you can just look at the difference between the two and see which one's is the more saner one.
Her good genes. Like, that is Nazi propaganda. Should we be...
Oh, dear Lord. So another TikToker made a video bemoaning the ad saying, if you haven't seen or comprehend how bad it is, I need you to open your fucking eyeballs and listen. This is Nazi shit. Pure Nazi shit, she berated. Well, the fact that you threw in fucking in there and then shit two times, oh my goodness, that means she's super serious. Super serial. Oh my gosh. I didn't see this one. Oh. Oh, no. Oh my gosh, it's an hour and 51 minutes. I don't think we'll listen to a little bit of it, but I don't think we can make it.
That Sydney Sweeney jeans ad, so I went and saw it. That's
Oh god, please don't. Why are you zooming up? I do not want to see this. Ugh.
Nazi propaganda.
And whoever said that this is a good look, like, needs to be drugged out into the street and shot, as Garfield would say. In Minecraft.
Wow. I thought it was going to be like kind of bad. That's going to be in history book.
I will be the friend that's too.
Oh, oh my gosh, it's a compilation. That's why it's a minute.
Because those Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ads are weird. Like fascist propaganda. Like or good haven't fully jeans. Like that is Nazi propaganda.
If you haven't fully comprehended how bad it is, I need you to open your fucking eyeballs and listen. This is Nazi shit. Pure Nazi shit. Saying that a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl has good genes is Nazi shit. Saying anybody has good genes is eugenics. Blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Nazi shit. This pro-Americana bull.
Well, you heard it, folks. If you have blue hair if you have, well, these people do. If you have blue eyes, blonde hair, you're genetically a Nazi. Sorry.
Bullshit. Talking about pure Americans having good genes. This is Nazi shit that people, especially Jews, have been warning about.
Wait,
for
did she just throw in the Jews?
Is Nazi shit that people, especially Jews, have been warning about for a very long time. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. Jeans is just a play on jeans. Shut the fuck up. This is Nazi shit.
Sydney Sweeney.
Oh my god. Dude, it's always the eyes, too. The demon eyes.
His jeans ad is giving ethnic state propaganda. It is giving dystopian. It is giving 1940s Germany.
And that might be dyed red hair. On behalf of all the gingers, as your super elite ginger host, we do not speak of these type of people.
Had her said anything. She could have just said, "I'm hot, drink my bathwater, here are my jeans." But instead they had her say, "Genes are passed down from parents to children. I have good genes. My jeans are blue." Why? Yeah, no, that was like the most thinly veiled propaganda I think that I've ever seen. I hate it.
You guys are.
There you go. The irony of all of these people saying that it's Nazi propaganda is literally like the left are the Nazis. And they always have been. They just rewrite history like they do all the fucking time. Every principle that is in Nazism are left principles that are trying to be put out. It is absolutely amazing. I love it. I love it to like the fullest extent. The self-awareness is like just not there. The National Socialist German, like, what is it? The Germans Workman Party, by the way. Oh my goodness gracious. The Jews warning who about what? Because they were talking about the Nazis, like that was what I was chuckling at, because I guarantee you she's one of the, I would not be surprised if not only is she saying this is Nazi shit, but she's probably one of the people that say the Jews are controlling everything too. That's what I was laughing at. But I'm sure she was trying to say, no, I was talking about how, because of the Nazis, we know what happened to the Jews and stuff like that. It's like, yes, we do know what happened to them. And it was horrible. ADL's paying for her. All right. So we got a good chunk of kind of what's happening here. And don't forget, and like this pointed out, last year her cleavage-bearing appearance on Saturday Night Live, outlets like Slate spilled ink decrying a small handful of right-leaning publications, cheekily declaring the publicity accepted oogling of an attractive white lady as a sign of the death of wokeness. Leftie article wrote that the starlet's ascent is very good news for a certain population of people who are waiting for a movie star like her, someone white, blonde, and all-American who, unlike Taylor Swift, hasn't yet provided the right with a reason to see her as a threat. Well, whatever. So that's all the hubbub. Heaven forbid a hot girl can just be hot, you know. And of course, like we saw in the mock-ups, it's the people who you always expect to sing as fat, unattractive, nose rings, stupid tattoos all over the place. Nothing wrong with tattoos or anything like that, but that always seems to be a thing. But the main thing, of course, being the demon eyes. Always the demon eyes. Just, you know, staring into the abyss. Dreading to be sent there. But yeah, that's all the big thing. I don't know. If you like Sydney Sweeney, I guess I want to stick it to the libtards. Go buy some American Eagle jeans. I'm not going to. But I will say that Sydney Sweeney is hot. There you go. Those are my thoughts for now. Because we all change at some point. But I don't foresee anything happening anytime soon. So the last thing we have in mind here is the UK government on the Online Safety Act petition. It has been implemented, and since then, things are going insane over there. I've seen pictures of, like, people can't even getting on to X and whatnot. And according to Bong Bong here, from MSN, like the little MSN where it gathers all, like, news stuff. I just looked up some stuff. But anyway, VPNs are, like, skyrocketing because of this. VPN use surging in UK after online censorship laws kicked in. Canny kids are borrowing adult faces to get around the age checks now required to access popular websites in the UK. And you see, this is why this online safety act, because they're doing it for the children. You know, like the one promo The Rock cuts. I did it for The Rock. I did it for the people. You know, when he's making fun of Rikishi. That's what I'm thinking of. I did it for the children. It's like, oh my gosh, no. You're just hurting, like, the adults. But they actually say that it's also for the adults too. Oh my gosh. And that we need Big Brother to step in. I have no idea why they're showing a picture of this. Classic UK children's entertainment. But there's a very frightening picture right there. Don't know what it is. Kind of don't want to know what it is, but let's move on. But what I was saying is, you know, the adults who are either pissed off about this happening or simply don't care. They're just going to be like, yeah, here you go. Boom. So it completely pointless. People like to downplay kids as being stupid and not knowing stuff. They know a certain amount how to get away with stuff. Let's not pretend kids don't know how to work people. Like, they do. And we've all done it in the past. We know. But there's an easier, if more expensive method. Just use a virtual private network. And that's something that I think is funny, because that was my first inkling of this. We'll just get a VPN, and then you're good. To access the web from another country. A tried and test method for use in other countries with heavy internet censorship, that football's coming home. The Finance Times reports an explosion in use of VPN there in the last week. But to evade the new rules, a growing number of people in the UK are turning to tools more often used by citizens in authoritarian regimes to get around internet censorship. Apps offering virtual private networks, which route a smartphone, PC internet traffic to another country, bypassing local network providers, made up half of the top 10 most popular free apps on the UK's App Store for iOS this weekend, according to Apple's ranking. Proton VPN, Leapfrog, ChatGPT to become the top free app in the UK, according to Apple's daily App Store charts, with similar services from developers Super Unlimited and Nord Security also rising over the weekend. Proton, the Swiss band company behind the top VPN app, said it had experienced a more than 1,800% increase in daily signups from UK-based users after new age verification rules took effect on Friday. Nord said there's been a 100% increase. Why are they really spelling out percent? but whatever. In this article, but in UK purchases of VPN subscription since before the rules took effect. An amazing quote from Proton: "We would normally associate these large spikes in signups with major civil unrest. The so-called Online Act does prohibit VPN companies from disclosing that their service can be used to circumvent censorship, but does not otherwise regulate their use. The omniscientables at hand, nothing successful blocked, and everyday Britons learning en masse how browse more privately, has already gotten local media vaguely suggesting a VPN ban is now on the table." You can't, dude, impossible. Oh, man. How the fuck is the UK like? Fuck UK and fuck Australia. Gosh, the post VPN use surging in UK after online censorship laws kick in appeared first on Boing Boing. There you go. So I had that. What's this? Oh, I had X open to showcase kind of like what the ban includes. Here's Pirate Nation here. So the kind of illegal content and activity that platforms need to protect users from are set out in the Act. This includes content relating to child sexual abuse, which should just be obvious to begin with, controlling or coercing behavior, extreme sexual violence, pornography, fraud, racially or religiously aggravated political ordered offense, inciting violence, illegal immigration and people smuggling, promoting of facilitating suicide, and image abuse. So it bans all. Okay, so that is kind of what the Act's. Let me see if I can find another one. That's where I was kind of okay. They're showing that one there. I'm sure you can online. Yeah, this right here. A petition immediately climbed up the ranks and got enough to be sent over to the UK. And we'll read about that because the UK immediately expressed no sympathy whatsoever when they saw the petition. But Microsoft, like I showed a little bit earlier, but moved it to the end here, is pussying out. And they're rolling out Xbox age verification to comply with the UK's Online Safety Act. The age verification tool will be mandatory for some social features in 2026. Microsoft has begun rolling out age verification checks on its Xbox platform in the UK in order to comply with the new Online Safety Act, which comes into effect in the UK this weekend. The new law forces companies that host adult content, such as pornography, to verify the age of users via banking details or government. Dude, how is this? This is straight up spying. Banking details, government issue IDs. Like, fuck off. Well, the Xbox verification is currently optional, so won't be the case for long. Xbox users who wish to use voice or text communication with those outside of their friends list to verify their age. At the time of writing, there's no sign of similar age checks on PlayStation or Nintendo consoles, but these may arrive at some point. Microsoft says its plan to learn from the UK rollout of the tools to apply similar safety efforts in their other regions. There's no one-size-fits-all solution to player safety, so this method may look different across regions and experiences, says Microsoft's Vice President of Gaming Trust and Safety, Kim Coons. Yeah, I would have just told UK to go fuck themselves. While working with local communities, publisher partners, and regulators to determine the right approach that both respects players' privacy. Yeah, sure. Doesn't take away from the Xbox gaming experience. We'll continue to communicate the changes we're making to our policies and the data we collect so far. We can better protect players' online platform. It is not your... Dude, I hate this. I absolutely hate this idea of this notion that these companies think that they need to protect people. We need to protect players on our platforms. Oh my gosh. It's like, dude, we saw what the Wild West was in the early days of gaming, and nothing happened. Like, nothing happened. I maybe have read one or two people where someone talked shit and somehow someone got that person's information and went to their house and like beat them up or something. I maybe remember reading an article about this, but other than that, nothing happened. Gosh, it's the same garbage that like libtards and rhinos try to push when it comes to gun safety control, that they just think like, oh, if everyone had a gun, we'd be having like, you know, the Hollywood Wild West shootout. It's like, dude, that is not reality. Oh my, like you guys are, and the people who do that shit a lot of ways turns out to be lefties that do that. I'm sorry, but this is what happens, is that they instill this fear, and then when people act out and do it, they go, see, we were telling you. It's like, no, they picked it up from you guys because you guys are fucking stupid. God, I hate these crap. Apparently I can't even formulate words. I'm so annoyed. Firms are taking the new law seriously. Why? As penalties from non-compliance include fines of $18 million or 10% of their global revenues, a potential massive blow to companies like Microsoft. I think it'd be absolutely hilarious if, like, in response, like, say they get a fine and, like, here's a fine for not following a law. What if, like, a company just responded and be like, all right, and here's a fine to the government for being a bunch of fucking cucks? I'd love to see something like that. The government, like, what is this? It's like, oh, yeah, we're charging you guys. Why? Well, because, you know, XYZ or something. Something of the, I don't know. I just would love to see something like that happen. It'd be hilarious. Huh? We're not paying that. Okay, well, we're not paying your fine either. Go fuck off. The law's effectiveness has already been questioned online, with some users discovering that some sites can bypass with VPNs, while other age verification systems are so lax that Death Stranding's photo mode or an image from WWE 2K25 can pass it. Anyway, here's me verifying an account using Batista in WWE. No way. Dude, did they not know that this was going to happen? Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. Scan my finger or show my... Oh my gosh. Oi, you got a license for that. Jokes. Oh my gosh. Whether a player verifies their age will not affect any previous purchases, entitlements, gameplay history, achievements, or the ability to play and purchase games. Xbox says, however, we encourage players to verify their age via this one-time process, now to avoid uninterrupted use of social features on Xbox in the future. No. The answer is no. Because let's be real. They're worried about children seeing like porn and ultra violence and graping and all this stuff. Number one, that's the parents' responsibility. Number two, these children shouldn't even be messing around with that stuff in the first place. That to me shows bad parenting. That to me shows plopping your kid down and putting a screen in front of their face because you don't want to take care of them. You don't want them to socialize. You don't want them to interact. You don't want them to be active outside of that because you're a bad parent. That is definitely a major part of it. Don't need the gov's help. Nope. Gosh. And of course, it is to be assumed, and it is probably true, that that these government officials saying this is for the children to protect them from porn, graping, XYZ, guarantee you they all indulge in that sort of stuff. Discord added a new age verification system with some users, which requires them to scan their face ID to access sensitive material. Process, which was made active in the UK and Australia, was described by Discord as, quote, an experiment, but appeared to be a direct reaction to the upcoming UK law and one passed in Australia last year, which banned social media for children under 16. Again, children, a lot of kids shouldn't even be online to begin with, but that's parenting. So, of course, a lot of people making fun of it, a lot of people pissed off. So they made a petition to tell the government, no, this is retarded, and this only hurts, like, law-abiding citizens. And, of course, the UK government blatantly disregards Online Safety Act petition. Comes from Niche Gamer. UK government has chosen to blatantly disregard an effort by constituents to have the Draconian Online Safety Act repealed. An official petition of the government's website has reached nearly 400,000 signatures. Only 100,000 are needed to, quote, be considered this for a debate. However, rather than engaging those concerned in good faith, a response from the government has shut out discussion. Here it goes from Peter Kyle. I would like to thank all those who signed the petition. It is right that the regulatory regime, I don't know if regime is an appropriate word, but on how like hot water you guys are in, for in-scope online services takes a proportionate approach, balancing the protection of users from online harm from the ability for low-risk services to operate effectively and provide benefits to users. The government has no plans to repeal the Online Safety Act and is working closely with Ofcom to implement the act as quickly and effective as possible to enable UK users to benefit from this protection. The response from the Department of Science, Innovation and Technology and appears to conceal, so that's the response. It was from that, to conceal deeper contempt from the signees of the petition. Peter Kyle, the Secretary of State for Science, Innovation, and Technology, accused all those who want the act repealed of being on the side of predator. Oh, fuck off. If you want to overturn the Online Safety Act, you are on the side of predators. It is as simple as that. You know what, Peter? You are probably a predator yourself. Rules for thee, not for me. Yep, usually how it always is. Dude, I hope that guy gets ratioed hardcore. In fact, let's find out right now. Let's take a gander. Let's see, at Peter Kyle. Hello, Sydney Sweeney. Ah, yes. According to Lefties, these people are not Nazis, but Sydney Sweeney wearing jeans. I'm just like, what the hell is that? I just came across a picture of tons of people being fags. Let's see. At Kyle. What was his name? Peters? Peter Kyle. Damn you. Oh, I'm like that one chick with my dyslexia. Peter Kyle. Oh, man, he is getting roasted. Oh, man, he's getting destroyed. In terms of, like, people hitting him. Oh, here we go. Oh, he even got community noted. Here we go. If you want to overturn the Online Safety Act, you're on the side of predators. It is as simple as that. Excuse me. Since coming into force, Online Safety Act has blocked / restricted censored content that wasn't what the act was for. This includes immigration, parliament debates. Wikipedia is challenging the categorization rules as the act will mean tough restrictions on the site. Dang, Wikipedia is challenging it? But, oh, here we go. Perfect. Exactly what I thought. 3.8K hearts, 3K requotes, 10K responses. Rashid owed out the butthole. This is the. Let's see how this douchebag sounds, by the way.
Safety since the internet was created. There is since Friday last week. Children and parents will notice the difference in the experience that children have. Most children do not go looking for harmful and dangerous and pornographic content.
Then why are you implementing the act?
Most children actually have found that the content has come to find them.
What?
That's why we've acted so decisively in this. And for everybody who's out there thinking of using VPNs, let me just say to you directly, verifying your age keeps a child safe.
Oh my gosh, dude. Eat a gallon of piss. Well, yeah. It's worth pointing out that many of the Act's restrictions can be bypassed a VPN. So, yeah, I hate to say it. But yeah, if you want to get around this, looks like you got to use a VPN. But then again, a lot of people use VPNs to begin with. So, but yeah, crazy times we're into. Certainly getting more towards the end times here. But I was thinking about this today. I don't see this because scripture-wise, everything goes towards there being a one worldwide currency, the mark of the beast and all that stuff. And some people could see this as kind of leading towards that. I almost kind of see it as the exact opposite. I think when the Antichrist comes, he's going to be so charming that everyone's going to agree with him and give him that authority and that power. That's what's going to happen. And I think stuff like this restricting stuff doesn't seem like that's something that Antichrist would do. It would be the exact opposite because it's going to become like the days of Noah. And for people who don't know what the days of Noah were back in the day, you're talking sacrifices, cannibalism, blood consumption, sexual debaucheries up to wazoo, XYZ. Instead of restriction, it was going to be, yeah, you can do whatever you want. You think you're a man and you're a woman, take this DNA changing thing and we can make that possible for you. So I was kind of thinking about that too. As terrifying as this is, and I hope that it gets shut down and repealed, I kind of just think about the end times coming, and I see it more as the opposite. The world is going to be so fooled into where everything seems great. Anybody can do whatever they want and stuff like that. That's when you need to start worrying about stuff, because that's when a false Armageddon takes place. And then the real Armageddon happens. But that's going down a long rabbit hole. But that is all I have for you guys tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to hit a like and subscribe, or feel free to follow me over on X if you want to. PowerCat Greg. Just type in the name. You can find that all over. And my Linktree has all my social media in the bios in there as well. And I appreciate everybody hanging out and hearing the insanity of me. Just another man giving his 2 cents. We have 85 views over on Rumble. So glad you guys, or I wish on Rumble, but over on X. So thanks for that. But tomorrow we'll continue the gaming. We'll do more Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks and some more Singularity. So don't miss out on that. That should be around 8 p.m. Central Time or 9 p.m. Central Time. All the more reason why you should like and subscribe and turn on notifications. With that being said, take care. God bless. But before I sign off, let me do some stuff here real quick. Over on YouTube, we'll raid Vara Dark. Go show her some loves. My boy Phoenix is online on Rumble. We're gonna raid his gay ass.
They made it Bomberman and Mario Kart. But one day, Patty, we're gonna put a fucking Fortnite. We are gonna dominate. Phoenix, you're right.
So go show them some loves. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Take care. God bless. Peace.
Thank you, Aramis. Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Take care.